Have you ever felt like you have to watch every word, avoid certain topics, or tiptoe around your partner's moods just to keep the peace? Like any little thing could set off an argument? If so, you might be in an eggshell relationship. These relationships tend to be really exhausting, anxiety-inducing, and can even be really isolating. But why do they happen? And more importantly, what can you do about it? Let's get into it. But first, hey there, I'm Lauren Consul, a licensed marriage and family therapist and certified sex therapist who is here to help you have more satisfying and secure sex and relationships. What exactly is an eggshell relationship? Well, an eggshell relationship is one where you tend to feel like you have to be careful not to upset your partner. Maybe they react with anger, defensiveness, or withdrawal when you bring up concerns, or maybe their emotions feel so unpredictable that you never know what kind of response you're going to get. Over time, this dynamic can make you suppress your feelings to avoid conflict, or overanalyze everything you say just to keep the peace, or feel emotionally drained from managing their reactions. This isn't just about arguments, it's about feeling like your needs, thoughts, and emotions aren't safe to express. These relationships often form when one partner is overly reactive and the other becomes hypervigilant in order to avoid setting off the reaction and the chain of events that happen afterwards. Now, this dynamic can stem from a lot of different places, and some of the most common ones are unresolved trauma or attachment wounds. Some people have deep fears of abandonment or rejection, which can make them react strongly to criticism or conflict. Their partner, in turn, learns to walk on eggshells to avoid triggering those fears. It can also come from emotional volatility. If one partner struggles with anger, anxiety, or mood swings and hasn't learned how to manage those emotions effectively, the other may start to tiptoe around them rather than risk a blow up. It can also come from poor conflict resolution skills. If disagreements always lead to fights, stonewalling, or shutting down, then over time, one partner may decide it's just easier not to bring things up at all. Now, many times these patterns come from childhood for both partners that are engaging in it. If you grew up in an unpredictable or high conflict home, you might unconsciously repeat that dynamic because it feels familiar, even if it isn't healthy. But the important thing is that both partners are participating in this cycle and potential patterns from childhood. It's not just the reactive partner, it's the other partner who's becoming hypervigilant that's also engaging in this. That's the important piece. When we're in a relationship, we impact each other. It's not just one partner. Being in an eggshell relationship can take a real toll on your well-being as well as the relationship, of course. Resentment can build. You can start feeling unheard, unseen, or like your needs don't matter. Anxiety can increase. You can constantly feel on edge, worrying about your partner's reaction. You can lose yourself. Over time, you may stop expressing your thoughts, needs, or opinions just to keep the peace. So how do you break this cycle? Because you can. Before we get into solutions, though, I want to be really clear. These strategies are not for abusive relationships. An eggshell relationship is not an inherently abusive relationship. If your partner is open to recognizing and changing their behavior, then you can work on shifting the dynamic together. But if they refuse accountability or respond with emotional or physical harm, this goes beyond an eggshell relationship, and these strategies are not for you. That being said, if your partner is open to working on the relationship, here's where to start. First, recognize the pattern, because the first step is always awareness. We have to be aware of what we need to change. So some questions to reflect on and ask yourself are there things that I want to say but hold back? And why do I hold back? Do I feel safe expressing my thoughts and emotions? If not, why? Is this a consistent pattern or just a one-time solution? When in my life have I felt this way before? How are things similar? How are things different? Reflecting on these questions really help you see where the pattern is and what your role in it is and what things need to change. Number 2, talk to your partner, which I know this can feel absolutely terrifying when you're in an eggshell relationship, but the only way to shift the dynamic is to bring it out into the open. So here are some strategies on how to have a conversation that is likely to decrease defensiveness and help set you up for success. First, start with a we statement. I know we've been struggling with communication, and I want us to work on this together so we both feel heard and understood. This statement acknowledges that you are both in this together. It's not you against your partner, it's you guys together against the issue. This helps prime your brain that it's not an attack, it's us together. Second, remind them that you're a team. I love you. We're a team, and I want us to feel like a team on this. Again, priming your brain, we're in this together. It's not you against me. Next, state your intention for the conversation. This provides a framework for your partner to understand why you're having this conversation. And when we know the why, it can help us listen better because it doesn't feel like it's just this attack on us, but it really helps us understand what we're doing in this conversation. So this might sound something like, I want to share what I've been realizing about myself and what I want to do differently. Now, of course, this is going to be tweaked a little bit depending on if you're just in a space where you want to share or if you want to problem solve or you want to get something different out of the conversation. And finally, you want to take ownership of your role in the cycle. So you've started with the we, you've stated the intention, you've provided that framework, and you also want to start with owning your piece. Again, so your partner knows this isn't just an attack on them, but you see your role in it too. So this might sound something like, I've noticed that I sometimes hold back my thoughts because I'm worried about how you'll react. I don't think that's good for either of us, and I want to work on changing that. So by framing it in this way, you're really inviting collaboration instead of triggering defensiveness. Now, it's not a guarantee, of course, that defensiveness won't get triggered, but this is the best way to help set you up for success. Number 3, you and your partner are going to want to set clear boundaries. This is not just about you setting your boundaries with your partner, which of course you can do, but about you guys creating boundaries for each other that protect both of you and your relationship. So a few helpful ones that I see partners do often is creating a safe word for pauses. If a conversation is escalating, you can agree to use a word that signals it's time to take a break. Now, this is not to be weaponized of you need a break or you're struggling, again, because you are a team working on this. But it's for either of you to say this safe word and say, we are not in a space that is going well. We are not hearing each other. We want to take a break so we can work as a team better. You can also create rules of engagement for arguments. And this is where you really write down rules, put them somewhere you can see. And so it's something that you can visually be cued by when you're having conflict that you guys can refer back to, that you guys can remember, we created this as rules as a team when we're working together. So this might include things like no yelling, no name calling, taking a 20-minute break if things get too heated, coming back to the conversation when both partners are calm, or whatever you need to do to help keep the conversation on track and that you guys both agree to. Again, this is something you want to create in a calm moment. So when you look at it, you can try to recall that calm moment of connection and we-ness. Now remember, boundaries really help prevent unhealthy conflict patterns from repeating and help you guys stay as a partnership working together rather than against each other. Number 4, both partners need to work on their own healing. And you need to do this to better understand why you've tolerated or engaged in this pattern, where you learned this dynamic in the past, and how to manage your emotions and communication in a helpful manner. Again, this is for both partners. You guys are both participants in this cycle. So you need to figure out your role in the cycle and take care of your side of the street and bring that to the relationship. Number 5, seek professional support if needed. If the pattern continues, if you're really struggling to talk about it, if you're not seeing any change, therapy, either individually or as a couple, can be really helpful. Now, I love when people are able to be in relationship therapy and individual therapy at the same time because you're able to process things individually, bring it to the relationship therapy, go deeper. It really can help you get deeper and move forward in a more efficient way. Now, I know that's not always possible, so if it's not possible, it doesn't mean things won't be effective. And I would recommend starting with relationship therapy generally, but everyone is a little bit different, so you have to figure out what's going on in your situation because this is a relational issue. And really, therapy can really help you navigate difficult conversations, teach you healthy communication tools, and really support you in breaking relationship cycles and understanding where they came from so you guys, again, can work as a team versus against each other. Walking on eggshells isn't love. It's not helping you or your partner. It's a fear of upsetting somebody you care about. And in the long run, a relationship where you can't fully be yourself isn't likely to be really satisfying or fulfilling or connecting. So if an eggshell relationship resonates with you, take a step towards better communication, stronger boundaries, and a relationship where you feel safe expressing your needs. Now, I'm curious if you have any questions about an eggshell relationship or if you have any tips on how you've broken out of the pattern of an eggshell relationship. Leave those in the comments below so we can learn from each other.